This video is sponsored by MuscleMonsters.com. Muscle Monsters is the fastest growing supplement brand for men who want to maximize their effort in the gym, optimize total body health, and make gains in every arena of life. Whatever your performance goals are, if you want to reach the next level and get the results you desire and deserve, don't wait. Click the link in the description and head over to MuscleMonsters.com. Use promo code MONSTER to get 25% off plus free shipping.
In the past, no one questioned what the bodybuilding pros were doing and blindly followed the limited info they found in fitness magazines. This explains why millions of guys worked hard in the gym only to be disappointed at their lack of results. In the past 10 years, however, we've gotten access to endless amounts of research that has shown us how to optimize our training. And lucky for you, I've gone through most of it and combined it with all my years of trial and error in the gym. Today, I want to give you the best science-based push workout for muscle growth. Not only will I give you the workout with every detail, but also why I programmed it the way I did. Now, before we get into the actual routine, let's first discuss what this push workout is all about. As the name suggests, a push workout is a training routine that focuses on your pushing muscles, the three most important being the chest or pec major, shoulders, specifically the anterior and middle deltoids, and the triceps. What you'll notice is that chest exercises tend to include movements in the horizontal plane. These are known as horizontal pressing exercises. Shoulder exercises tend to include vertical pressing movements where you're pushing a weight overhead, and the triceps will always be involved when we're pressing a weight away from our body, be it horizontally or vertically. Because the different movement patterns train different sets of muscles, we'll set up the workout accordingly. With this workout, we're also going to allow each muscle to recover by not sandwiching them all together, making it a bit easier to focus on progression. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the workout. Exercise number 1, barbell bench press, 4 sets, 6 reps. Besides the fact that the bench press activates your pecs to a great degree, the barbell allows you to lift as much weight as needed without being limited by the setup or having to stabilize each arm like you would with dumbbells. It's why the majority of trainees are able to barbell bench press far more weight than they could lift if using dumbbells. And since you can use small plates like 5 pounds, 2.5 pounds, or even less if you have micro plates, you can gradually increase the weight you lift and push for progressive overload. Not only that, but research shows that the bench press 1 rep max is tightly correlated with chest size. In other words, if you want to build bigger pecs, focus on building a stronger bench press. Exercise number 2, overhead press, 4 sets, 6 to 8 reps. The overhead press, or OHP, is a total body movement that emphasizes the shoulders, but also places a good deal of tension on the upper chest and triceps. The reason I say total body is because if you leak force through your hips, core, or upper body muscles, it will limit the amount of weight you can push. And when you switch from a seated variation to standing, you'll notice an even greater increase of activation in other muscles. A 2013 study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research compared the standing overhead press and seated overhead press, as well as other overhead press variations. They found that the activation in all 3 deltoid heads was greater with the standing barbell variation when compared to the seated barbell variation. That said, this study looked at standing and seated dumbbell variations as well. According to the study, the standing dumbbell overhead press actually produced the greatest muscle activation. Before you prioritize the standing dumbbell overhead press, however, keep in mind that EMG doesn't tell the whole story. It only measures the electrical activation in your muscles. In reality, the standing barbell overhead press is going to be far easier to load than the dumbbell variation. Not only will you be able to lift significantly more weight with the barbell, but the setup for the standing dumbbell overhead press becomes far less practical as the weight you're using increases. This isn't to say we should eliminate the standing dumbbell variation completely, but rather I'd recommend saving it for higher rep work later in your workout. Exercise number 3, incline dumbbell bench press. 3 sets, 8 to 10 reps. The pec major is comprised of 2 different heads, the upper clavicular head and the lower sternocostal head. What most guys do is focus on the flat barbell bench press, so as they build muscle, their pecs tend to look droopy. To combat this, you've got to include some upper pec work. The incline dumbbell bench press puts you at an incline so that your arms push at an upward angle. Research published in the European Journal of Sports Science compared bench pressing at the following angles: 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, and negative 15 degrees. The results were pretty obvious. The most upper pec activation occurred at 30 and 45 degrees. Personally, I recommend experimenting with what feels best, and although the study was done with a barbell, it's likely you'll achieve similar results when using dumbbells. Not only that, but the dumbbells provide a greater range of motion, potentially resulting in more overall muscle growth. Exercise number 4. Cable crossover. 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps. The bench press has its limitations. Yes, it hammers your pecs, but sometimes the muscles that fatigue first are the secondary muscles like the shoulders or triceps. For example, if your triceps are a weak link, it could cause them to burn out before the pecs, leaving the chest underwhelmed, which is why I recommend including an exercise that allows you to emphasize the pecs without other muscles limiting you. For this purpose, we're including the cable crossover. Remember, this is a fly, not a press, meaning you can take advantage of a full range of motion. Because the main function of the pecs is horizontal adduction, it's no surprise that the cable crossover will activate the pecs to a great degree. What most people don't realize, however, is that there's another function of the chest that most guys completely ignore: internal rotation. By simply rotating your arm inwards at the end of the movement, you're actually maximally shortening the pec fibers. As long as you keep your arms in line with your nipples, you'll experience a powerful pec contraction. And if your chest was underwhelmed from the previous pressing movements, rest assured they'll be fried after this one. Exercise number 5. Lateral raise. 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps. If you look at guys with the most aesthetic physiques, they typically have broad shoulders. The primary muscles responsible for this appearance of a wider frame are the mid-delts. And although we're already hitting the mid-delts during some of our other pressing movements, the actual muscle stimulation isn't very high, which explains why most guys end up with well-developed front delts while their mid-delts lag behind. Research by Barron and Buskies looked at EMG activation of all the deltoid heads with different exercises, And although various exercises do hit the middle deltoid, especially those that include pressing, the lateral raise showed the greatest mid-delt activation of them all. And if you're already including lateral raises in your training, yet failing to see any noticeable changes in your mid-delts, consider this. The middle deltoid is responsible for shoulder abduction. That means lifting the arms out to the sides away from the body, not to be confused with lifting the arms up. Instead of just lifting the dumbbells up, think about scraping your knuckles against the walls to your sides. In other words, you're actively reaching out, not just up. And while we typically want more range of motion and not less, when you raise the weight too high, you begin to shift the tension from the mid-delts to the upper traps. Now, I wouldn't say there's too much wrong with a little extra trap activation, but this will likely make it harder to activate the middle deltoid since it's a pretty small muscle, which is why I recommend you lift the dumbbells to shoulder height and no higher than that. Exercise number 6, skull crushers. 3 sets, 8 to 10 reps. The triceps are comprised of 3 heads that are emphasized differently depending on your arm position. When your arms are overhead, like in a skull crusher, you emphasize the long head, the big meaty part of your tricep towards the back. When performing the skull crusher, lie down at the end of the bench so your head is all the way at the edge. When setting up, keep the upper arms pointed back instead of straight up and down. Do it right and you'll feel a stretch in your triceps rather than a throbbing pain in your elbows. You can make this stretch even more powerful by allowing the weights to move behind your head. The tension will load into the triceps instead of the elbows, while also giving you a greater range of motion. And as we know, a greater range of motion leads to more hypertrophy. Exercise number 7, rope pushdown. 3 sets, 10 to 12 reps. In the previous exercise, we hit the triceps from more of an overhead angle. A rope pushdown will hit more of the lateral head instead. According to research by Barron and Buskys, the pushdown produced the greatest lateral head activation compared to other exercises, including the skull crusher. Personally, I advocate the rope pushdown because there's a freer range of motion. At the very end, you can do a few things. Twist the rope, pull the rope apart, and even pull each end towards the back of your body for more long head activation. Since the long head is maximally activated with the shoulder hyperextended or with the arms behind your back, you can create a massive long head stimulus if you pull the rope behind the torso. So there you have it, the best science-based push workout for muscle growth. Just remember, this workout should not be viewed in isolation. It should be part of an intelligently designed workout program that you can both stick to and get stronger from over time. Did you find this video helpful? If so, click the like button below as it'll truly help out the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more videos and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. Peace.